All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to our incredible groundbreaking ceremony for the Hawks and Emory's 90,000 square foot practice and training facility. And as someone who is fortunate enough to travel around the NBA and see these great facilities around the league and see what impact they've had on their communities and on their teams, I know how important it is that what we're doing here today for this franchise and for our players, our coaches, and our city, this, believe me, is an unbelievable game changer for the Atlanta Hawks franchise. I'd like to take a moment before we get going with our speeches to acknowledge Tony Ressler, who is here leading the ownership team that is here. Grant Hill in attendance. I was told he was coming. Has Grant made it? There he is. He is here. I always wanted to post him up, and I think this might be my only chance. Mitch Shaw is here. Jesse Isler is here. Jim Cox Chambers is here. So welcome. It is great to have you all here. Fantastic. We'd also like to welcome Mayor Ernst from Brookhaven. A very special day for Brookhaven. And a Hawk season ticket member as well. DeKalb County Commissioner Nancy Jester is here. Nancy, welcome. And to all of the elected officials from the city of Brookhaven and DeKalb County, we thank you for coming today. We're also thrilled to have in attendance a lot of our alums who have laid the groundwork for this franchise for many, many years. Let me introduce them, and please stand if you're seated so we can all see you. Jim Washington. Is Jim here? Kevin Willis. No? Okay. I know one who's here because I saw him earlier. The greatest trainer in our history, Joe O'Toole, is here. Joseph? It's a thrill to have you here, and you know what this represents for our franchise. It's fantastic, and the players, the coaches that have gone before us have helped put this franchise and city on the map. And when you think back to the early days, late 60s, when this franchise came to Atlanta, oh, Dominique is here. Hey, you're hiding in the corner. You didn't even come see me. Dominique Wilkins. Man, you guys hide. But when you go back and look over the last 40-some plus years of this franchise being here in Atlanta, and from the early days, starting out at the old Alexander Memorial Coliseum, and then moving into the Omni and playing games at the Dome while Phillips was being built, then into Phillips Arena, and now to this day that brings us to this place for a world-class facility here at Emory. We're thankful to all of our alumni for putting the roots down that got us to this place here today, and to see the caretaking of our new ownership group with Tony and Grant and Steve and Coach Bud. Wes Wilcox, our general manager, is here in the front row as well. Our leadership team continues to build this franchise and help it evolve. And gentlemen, we thank you very much for that because it is so important. So now, without further ado, let me introduce to you our speakers for today. And first of all, I'll go right down the row. We'll begin with Claire Sturck, who's the incoming president at Emory University. To her left is Tony Ressler, the principal owner and chair of the board of the Atlanta Hawks. Dr. Scott Bowden is the director of the Emory Orthopedics and Spine Center and chief medical officer of the Emory University Orthopedics and Spine Hospital. Mike Budenholzer, the president of basketball operations and head coach of the Hawks, and the CEO of the Hawks, Steve Koonin. We'll hear from all of them in just a moment. We are very pleased to have with us today the incoming president of Emory University, Dr. Claire Sturck. Before her recent appointment to the presidency, Dr. Sturck served as provost and executive vice president of the university, and she has built a distinguished and internationally recognized career as a public health researcher. Please welcome Dr. Sturck.
Thank you, Bob. I'm thrilled to be here this morning to help break ground for this new facility. This is very exciting, and also to recognize our guests and partners. Emory University is proud to embark on this exciting partnership with the Atlanta Hawks, the city of Brookhaven, DeKalb County, and this new 5-acre complex will serve as a catalyst for diversified innovation within Executive Park. Our partnership here reflects a bright vision for the future of our community and far beyond. Today we're breaking ground Soon, we will be cutting ribbons and opening doors to this one-of-a-kind facility, and that's something to really look forward to. It's among the many beneficial innovations we will realize thanks to the collaborations we celebrate today. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Atlanta Hawks owner Tony Wessler.
Thank you very much. I'd like to say that 1 year ago, when we just closed on the Atlanta Hawks, speaking to my wife, my 3 sons, what was the most important, single biggest priority we can do? What can we do to make a difference? How can the Hawks really transition from a 19th, 20th century franchise to a 21st? How can we be best in class? And when we saw the practice facilities inside Phillips Arena, we all agreed this was job one. We're so excited to be here today, less than 1 year from the time we closed on the Atlanta Hawks. There has been so much work that has been put into this. So please, I'd like to thank our new and very dear friends at Emory University. I'd like to thank Mayor of Brookhaven, who's helped us enormously. And I'd like to thank the entire Hawks organization. We have put so much effort, Steve Koonin, Thad Shealy, Scott Wilkinson, we have put so much effort into making this a reality. The single most obvious way a great basketball franchise can compete in the NBA is to show its players, its coaches, its staff that will be second to none. I truly believe the Atlanta Hawks are second to none. Asking Dominique about his practice facilities, asking him to look at the plans of our new practice facilities. The Atlanta Hawks are trying to establish itself as a world-class franchise for the foreseeable future. Having a practice facility in partnership with amongst the best medical teams and entities in the world, with the kind of partners we have in P3, is such an advantage and such an important step for this franchise that I just truly am so proud of what we've been able to achieve in such a short time. I do believe this is just the beginning of what the Atlanta Hawks are trying to be and to stand for. And with our friends at Emory, we would argue that this will be as good a medical and practice facility as exists, not just in the NBA, but in sports globally. And for that, we are hugely grateful and enormously excited. Thank you so much.
Scott?
I think I'm supposed to introduce my esteemed medical professional, Dr. Scott Bowden. And if you were unclear, I think the jacket is intimidating enough.
It's funny.
But Dr. Bowden.
Thank you, Tony, and good morning to everyone. It was just a little over 2 months ago today that Tony, Steve, Bud, and I had the pleasure of announcing our partnerships and plans to reimagine what true integration looks like between a professional sports franchise and a major academic healthcare system. Our collective goal was to design a facility that could fully service the top athletes in the world, provide the absolute best environment for comprehensive player development, and also serve as a sports science and research mecca. Today marks a significant first step in realizing that vision, and I could not be more excited. It is with great pleasure that I get the official honor of revealing that the name for our new facility will be, there's no drum roll, the Emory Sports Medicine Complex. This facility will be comprised of 4 world-class programs that will have an unrivaled level of synergy. First, the Emory Healthcare Courts will be the official practice and training facility of the Atlanta Hawks and will be the headquarters for basketball operations. The Emory Sports Medicine Center will move here from across Executive Park in Building 59, and along with our Johns Creek office will enable our 13 sports medicine physicians to care for 3 professional teams, 3 collegiate athletic programs, and over 20 high schools. Our physicians will treat the elite, professionals, and weekend warriors here in the same facility, and with the Hawks down the hall now, our slogan, "Go where the players go," will never have been more true. In addition, Emory Physical Therapy will also be co-located, allowing us to offer the best in recovery and rehabilitation services for all our athletes and patients. And lastly, Peak Performance Project, or P3, the world leader in athlete performance measurement and enhancement, will place their new East Coast facility right here in our center. Together, we are building a facility with amazing purpose and an unprecedented level of integration of sports, medicine, and science, and a vision to make Atlanta the preeminent destination for professional athletes of all sports to live, work, and train. Tony has thanked some of the people involved in the project, and I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank people and highlight some of their contributions already. Great ideas are wonderful, but without people and relationships, they rarely happen on their own. First, it's been an honor to get to know and work so closely with people of the character and drive of Steve Koonin and his senior management team, Tony Ressler, Grant Hill, and many of the owners who I've met personally, GM Wes Wilcox, and especially Coach Bud, a phenomenal coach and an amazing human being. What an outstanding organization with a strong commitment to their players, past, present, and future, and to the Atlanta community. On the Emory Healthcare side, John Lewin and Mike Johns, as CEO of our health enterprise, helped gain approval of senior leadership and governance. From Emory University, Mike Mandel and Jack Tillman, who were instrumental in the land acquisition on which we're sitting and standing today. School of Medicine Dean Chris Larson, whose support was critical. Jeff Baxter, our Associate General Counsel, who spent many weekends and late night calls wordsmithing countless documents with me, unfortunately for him. And also Dane Peterson, our hospital group president, and Amy Comeau from marketing were integral to the sponsorship agreement. From the Emory Clinic, Mike Mason is our guru of facility design and operations and has been an integral component. And from Emory Sports Medicine, Jeannie Newmeyer, who has been a daily liaison between our operations group and the design team. And lastly, but not least, Dr. John X, our physician director of sports medicine, and all of the sports medicine physicians, therapists, athletic trainers, and support staff, many of whom are here today. We thank them for what they do for caring for our athletes and our patients every day, and how they've enabled Emory Sports Medicine to attain the critical mass and level of excellence to reach this historic moment. In my 25 years, I've never been more proud to be part of Team Emory than I am today. Thank you all once again for everything you do each and every day. In closing, and yes, we will shovel some dirt in a few minutes, and when we do, this event will signify more than just the start of construction on the Hawks' new state-of-the-art practice facility and Emory's new sports medicine center. It will really represent the beginning of an exciting collaborative journey by Emory, the Hawks, our other professional and elite athletes, the city of Brookhaven, DeKalb County, and the greater Atlanta area. This journey will enhance the science, prevention, diagnosis, care, and rehabilitation of sports injuries, and we will do so with a community-focused effort on the importance of fitness, nutrition, and overall health. We could not be more excited with this partnership and what it means for Emory and Atlanta. And it's now my pleasure to turn it over to Coach Bud.
Thank you, Dr. Bowden. I think I said it at the first press conference, and it couldn't be more true today that there's nobody more excited about this partnership and this complex in the Atlanta Hawks practice facility than myself and our players. I feel fortunate to somewhat be able to speak and thank everybody here from our most important people, and that is our players. What this facility will do for them and for the coaches, these guys have done a good job of thanking and trying to put it into some context, but we're the ones that are fortunate that kind of get to live in it and feel it and breathe it every day, and it really is a game changer, and we couldn't be more excited and thankful and grateful. The partnership with Emory, we've already started working with Emory and their sports medicine team and preparing for the draft with our front office and finding, who and we should and should not draft, or, with health concerns and all those things. And the first class of the Emory group has already shown and proven itself just last night. And when you build a team, and I think that's what we're doing with Emory, it's exciting. And now it's our job as coaches and management to grow these players and develop them. And there's no place better to do that than the new Hawks practice facility. And so with that, I'd like to thank Tim Hardaway for coming today. It was, yeah. And I think it was about a year ago that Tony and his group closed on the Hawks, and it was about a year ago that we made a trade for Tim Hardaway on draft night. And I think he's an example of what our practice facility will help us accomplish. He came here with an injury that a lot of people probably weren't aware of, and he came ready to work. He put the time and effort in with our coaches, with our strength and conditioning staff. And his growth and his progress throughout the season and the way he contributed is an example of the kinds of things that will happen with a facility like this, with a partnership with Emory, with P3. Our players are going to reap the benefit of it just like Tim did this year. So I can't say it enough how excited myself and the players and the coaches are. And we can't wait to get in here and come to work every day. And so with that, I'd like to ask Tim to come up and unveil, I think it's going to be the name of the street that we come to every day.
Hi, I'm Steve Koonin, CEO of the Atlanta Hawks. No worries. Our theme for today is really past to future. And there's so many metaphors for that are happening. 40 years ago, the Atlanta Hawks trained at a sporting club less than a quarter of a mile from here. It was a public workout health club that the Hawks rented hours during the week to train. Fast forward 40 years, we're going to build one of the great sports medicine complexes in the world in the shadow of that club. Past to future, Dominique Wilkins, arguably the greatest Hawk, one of the greatest players who ever played, and Tim Hardaway, a future all-star, being able to use the facility to grow his skills and grow the Atlanta Hawks. We couldn't be more excited, but this happened because of a singular vision, a dedication that our ownership, Tony Ressler, brought that said, we have to put the players first, we have to have the best facilities to be a winning organization. And so, in the past, I grew up a mile from here, and to be sitting in this lawn, this is what our front yard looked like. It brings back a lot of memories, and I can't wait till October of 17 when this is a beautiful place and it represents the Atlanta Hawks. I do want to thank my now dear friend Scott Bowden, who I've built a wonderful relationship. One of Emory's finest, Dr. Steve Warnaker, introduced us at dinner. I called Dr. Warnaker and said, this is what we have an idea for. And he goes, I know somebody who wants to talk to you. We had a dinner, and it was on from there. And in a scant 4 months, we put this deal together. And what you don't know about Dr. Bowden is he's fielded phone calls from almost everybody on the Hawks side, from my knee hurts to we have a real family emergency. And each one, he's taken his time and his care, and he is truly special, and we are very thankful to be your partner and your friend. What Coach Bud has brought to Atlanta is the greatest metaphor for what we want to be. It's about playing as a team. It's about working together. It's about hard work. It's about integrity. It's about sharing. And I would be remiss without thanking our team here, Thad Sheely, who's done a remarkable job in pulling all of this together, and Scott Wilkinson, 4 incredibly complex deals, construction, building, all of the things that I don't understand, that they've done a brilliant job of doing for us, and I want to thank you. I also want to thank Brandy Burton and Melissa Proctor for making this day a reality. And now I want to go to the shovels. I've never done any hard labor in my life. And I'm looking forward. So if Tony Ressler, Coach Bud, Dr. Bowden, Tim Hardaway, Grant Hill, Dominique Wilkins, Dr. Stirk, Thad Sheely, Scott Wilkinson, Dane Peterson, and Dr. X could meet us over the shovels. And if our alumni have showed up, you too, we'd love to move to the next phase.